The restaurant was buzzing with evening chatter, clinking glasses, and the soft hum of jazz. At a corner table sat Richard Kane, a billionaire known for his sharp business mind and icy demeanor. Tonight, he wasn't just a customer, he was trying to close the biggest deal of his career, a multi-million-dollar mining contract with international investors. But there was one problem: his translator. The bridge between him and the investors hadn't shown up. Richard stared at the contract, panic creeping in. He could speak some French and a little Spanish, but not enough to explain complex mining terms. The investors were polite, yet their eyes betrayed confusion. Each passing minute felt like a lifetime, and the tension in the room was suffocating. Then, a young waitress approached with a tray of drinks. Her name was Emma, and she had been working here for barely 6 months. She noticed the stress on Richard's face, the sweat on his brow, and the investors' polite but impatient glances. Summoning courage, she quietly asked, "Sir, do you need some help?" Richard looked at her skeptically. I don't think you can," he began, but something in Emma's steady gaze made him pause. There was a confidence, a calmness, and a spark of empathy that made him reconsider. With no other option, he nodded. Emma listened carefully as Richard explained the situation, then politely approached the investors, using the bits of French she had picked up from a college class. And her natural charm, she began translating. At first, it was halting, but soon she found a rhythm. She simplified complex terms, explained the mining projections, and even added small reassurances that Richard hadn't thought of, things like, "This plan is solid. You're making a safe investment." The investors started nodding, smiling even, as they began to trust the explanation. Richard watched in awe as Emma bridged the gap he thought was impossible. Minutes felt like hours, but slowly the tension dissolved. Finally, they shook hands, and the deal was sealed. The biggest deal of Richard's career was now complete, and it was all because of a young waitress who had stepped up when no one else could. Richard couldn't hold back his gratitude. "I don't know how to thank you," he said, his voice uncharacteristically soft. Emma just smiled, brushing it off with humility. "I just wanted to help," she said simply. But Richard knew this wasn't just help, it was bravery, intelligence, and heart, all in one person. As the investors left, Richard realized something profound. Sometimes, the most important people in our lives aren't the ones with titles, wealth, or experience. Sometimes, they're the ones who quietly step in when everything seems lost and change everything.